Before the Beyonder pathways, before the secret organizations, and before the mind-bending revelations, there was just a diary, a ritual, and Klein. Lord of the Mysteries Volume 1 isn't just a great start, it is an absolute, why did I become British there for a second? What just happened there?
None for me, Lydia. I'm meeting me mates down at the pub.
Masterclass in atmospheric world building, slow burn suspense, and character development. Let's break down why Volume 1 hooks readers so well and how Cuttlefish masterfully crafts an unforgettable beginning. Now, this goes without saying, but let me say it anyway. Spoilers up to the end of Volume 1, so if you haven't finished it, click off the video. The city of Tingen feels alive, not because it's grand or because it's flashy, but because it's lived in, layered, and always hiding something. One of the things I value most in world building is that it should feel like the world is happening to the main character, not the other way around. A lot of media has this problem where it feels like the world is stagnant and not moving until the main character does something, and then the world reacts to it, and then again it goes back to being stagnant until again the main character does something. But a good world building, to me, means the opposite. Our protagonist, as important as they are to us, should be just a small cog in a giant world. And Lord of the Mysteries does that perfectly, right from the very start. From the dusty bookshelves of the library to the eerie stillness of the seance, Cuttlefish builds a mood that seeps into your bones. The cold, chilling fog of Tingen feels like you're standing in it. And that fog doesn't just roll in, it lingers, like a secret left unspoken. And my God, are there secrets in Volume 1 to speak about. While almost everyone agrees that Lord of the Mysteries has a slow start, it fills that silence. That immediate opening scene of Zhou Mingru being transmigrated into Klein's body with a bullet hole and a single sentence that explains nothing and everything. Everyone will die, including me. That sentence answers none of your questions, at least the first time when you read it, and it fills you with so much captivation, so much curiosity, that you stick around for the next dozen or so chapters where you're given so much exposition about the world. That exposition you read feels like a lot. It feels like so much. I remember the first time I was reading it and I was like, dude, in what universe does the author give us so much information? In what universe do they tell us about the royal family? Do they tell us about ceremonies? Do they tell us about the political factions that are in control in the world? This is so much right at the start, and it might be overwhelming. It sure was for me, but it gives you a very, very basic understanding of this amazingly thorough world. But it gives you enough that you feel like you have some sense of what's happening, which is very important because in a world this big, if that exposition wasn't there, you would feel like you're just drowning. Most stories rush to grab your attention, but Lord of the Mysteries does the exact opposite. It waits. The tension builds not through action, but your own curiosity. Klein doesn't start out as powerful. He's just intrigued, nervous, curious, and scared. In a world where you can be unbelievably powerful, Klein starts out as absolutely nothing. And he doesn't come to this world as a loser who sees this world as a chance to become something great. I'm talking to you, Mushoku Tensei. Just the opposite. This world is nothing but a distraction, an annoyance as far as Klein is concerned. He wants nothing more than to get back home as soon as possible. And that's brilliance. Each revelation, the indigenous family notebook, the Beyonder potions, the Grey Fog, the Tarot Club, joining the Nighthawks, they all feel earned. It doesn't feel like, oh, Klein was just dumped into this and he got so many powers. Yes, he did get the Grey Fog, in fairness, granted, but the mystery isn't dumped on you. It trickles in, leaving so much to your imagination. When Klein first entered the Grey Fog, there wasn't a narrator who said, this world stands above the spirit world, and it grants you the abilities to avoid interference in your divinations. It didn't tell him any of that. It just gave nothing. He just walked into this gray world, and Audrey and Alger were summoned in, and he had to try to figure out bit by bit what is happening as much as we were trying to figure that out. It leaves so much to your imagination, but it gives you just enough clues where when you read it again, in hindsight, everything feels so obvious. but your first read-through is anything but. Everything feels so confusing. That is good storytelling. That is storytelling that respects the reader's intelligence. Cuttlefish isn't trying to spoon-feed you. He's giving you the tools and respecting you enough to hope that you can make your own good inferences. He's not just going to spoon-feed you exposition every 4 chapters to say, hey, this new power, here's how it works. And this new problem, here's how we're going to fix it. No, it gives you a problem and you work with Klein trying to figure out, hey, how are we going to get past this? Klein isn't your typical protagonist. He's not cocky, because he's painfully aware of how powerless he is in this world, where you want to be anything but. And most importantly, he's aware of how fragile his particular position is. He knows that he needs to become more powerful to have any small chance of going back. But the only way to get that power is to join the Nighthawks, the people who have the most ability to find out that Klein is a transmigrator. But that's a risk he just has to take if he wants any chance of going back home. He doesn't just stumble into power. He negotiates with it. He studies it. And most importantly, he fears it. This is not just another isekai where the main character has this unbelievable ability to just grasp magic in one sentence. He just reads a book and oh my god, he has the undying knowledge of the elders where he now understands every type of magic that can ever be done. No, he has weekly lessons with old Neil to get better understanding of mysticism in this world. We get slow exposition week by week as Klein is reading through old books to try to figure out, hey, what are the gods of this world? What is the history of this world? All of that is slowly and painfully earned. Even when he becomes a Sequence 9, the path for the future is anything but clear. Even a Sequence 8 potion feels impossible to get because the Church of the Evernight doesn't have the formula for Clown. So how is Klein going to get there? Oh my god, it's only a Sequence 8. Klein has an infinitely long way to go, but there's already such a big hurdle right now. How do we possibly get past it? Klein knows he can digest potions way faster than the church tells him he can because he knows the acting method, but he can't just reveal that he knows it for fear of being scrutinized by the church. So he has to come up with a clever but plausible explanation for it. So he has to backtrack and say, hey, who do I know that also knows the acting method? Oh, Madame Daly. Okay, so I'm going to say that I based it off of her principles and then readjusted them to fit a seer. It's very clever, very thought out, very methodical. And if you spend the time, you can backtrack and say, hey, given that same amount of information, that is a reasonable conclusion that can be reached. It's not just Cuttlefish pulling out some random stuff out of his ass to make a story point work. No, it's actually thought out. This is a person who spent an unbelievable amount of time trying to master his craft, trying to master the book that he's writing. This makes his journey believable. His inner monologues aren't just exposition, they're windows into an incredible mind that's adapting to unbelievable horror, power, and purpose all at once, while trying to maintain his sense of self. Because despite all outward appearances, this is not Klein Moretti, the history student, the brother, now the Nighthawk member. This is Zhou Mingru, who's walking in this world as Klein, understanding nothing of it, but trying to make it seem like he knows of this world because he's lived here his entire life. Volume 1 makes you invest in Klein before the grandeur kicks in, and that's rare. There's no immediate hook. There's no immediate, hey, look, Klein is now Sequence 9, which is what, of chapter 40, give or take? Now Klein has these immediate powers where he can now fight with gods, and he now has this super cool flashy power that makes you just want to watch him because he's so cool. No, Klein's Sequence 9 seer potions are damn near unbearably boring. I get that other people may have different understandings of those powers, but a Sequence 9 seer to me is unbelievably boring. He has no ability at all to do combat. His ability to do combat is damn near limited to, I'm going to do a divination to see if I'm in danger. If I'm in danger, I need to go get friends or I die. That is the extent of what Klein can do. Now, again, he does have a very rare ability in the Grey Fog, but it's nothing overwhelming, at least from what we know in Volume 1. This is no one-hit kill ability. This is no ability to find potion ingredients instantly. This is no ability to grasp the powers of other pathways. No. It's just something that eliminates interference as far as we know in Volume 1. That is not that unbelievable a power to have. Now, I'm not going to speak too much about foreshadowing in Volume 1 because I'm currently not finished Lord of the Mysteries. I'm currently reading Volume 3. But I have been assured by everyone and their mother that Volume 1 quickly becomes one of people's more favorites in rereads because every offhand remark that doesn't make sense when reading it the first time, every small, seemingly unimportant character has a payoff that you don't know about until much in the future. And even just finishing Volume 1, so much of the world just instantly clicks. As soon as you figure out what happened with Zongwil, you're like, oh my god. This character, who was mentioned for maybe 3 sentences when Klein was reading through the archives of the Nighthawks, is so unbelievably valuable. How could anyone see that coming? It is unbelievably well done. I can't praise it enough. Volume 1 of Lord of the Mysteries isn't just a setup. It's a microcosm of everything the series does well. World building that breathes, a protagonist who feels real, foreshadowing that's borderline surgical. Zongwil has quickly become one of my favorite antagonists. There's a clip of me before starting the ending of Volume 1 saying, I know there's a fight coming, and I think people are gonna die, but I don't know who they can afford to sacrifice anymore. Old Neil just died. Kenley just died in the fight with Madame Sharon. I don't think they can afford to kill anyone. My god, I could not have been more wrong. This isn't just good writing, it's a masterclass in tone, tension, and trust between the author and reader. The author is trusting us, hey, I'm gonna trust you that you actually read and comprehended what I said, that when I make a callback to something that happened 200 chapters ago, that's not even a joke, by the way, you are gonna remember it. You're gonna have notes about it. The author will, in kindness, tell you, like, hey, this was mentioned before, Alder mentioned it during a Tarot Club meeting. Klein will have that thought process to help us, but there's also an underlying thing where, hey, I did mention this, and if you thought about it carefully enough, you should have been able to reach this conclusion before I outright stated it, which I find so valuable. Because this isn't an author who's talking down to us. He's saying, hey, I trust you guys. I trust your ability to read and really comprehend what I'm putting out there. And if Volume 1 is the doorway, then what lies ahead is nothing short of divine. On that note, I've been streaming my read-throughs of Lord of the Mysteries on the channel. If you're interested, the VODs of all the lives are available on the channel. If you've already read Lord of the Mysteries, let me know how much different did Volume 1 feel on a reread compared to the first time. Comment below your favorite moment from Volume 1, and let me know what you want me to cover from Lord of the Mysteries in the future. Until next time, stay mysterious. Thanks, guys.